Well, this year's World Happiness Report from Oxford University found that English-speaking countries are disproportionately dissatisfied with life. In a column from the Free Press, behavioral scientist Arthur Brooks says the way we use social media could be driving that unhappiness. Arthur joins us now. He's a CBS News contributor and columnist for the Free Press. And we should note that CBS News and the Free Press share Paramount Skydance as a parent company. Now, Arthur, this is really interesting stuff. You first started thinking about this after observing a change in your students at Harvard. Tell me about that. What did you notice?
Well, my students are about 50% from the United States and 50% from outside the United States. My MBA students in the 20s. And when I first started teaching, I noticed that the American students were brighter, they were more cheerful. You know, the Europeans were more cynical, for example, and that's kind of flipped. I found that the immigrants, the people who are here from outside the United States, they tend to have a more cheerful attitude. And I started to figure out why that is when I looked at their social media habits. And sure enough, the World Happiness Report says Americans, English speakers, Brits, Canadians, even Australians are actually trailing behind in happiness because they use social media in a different way.
But what's the correlation there between English-speaking countries and their use of social media and happiness? Why do we see that?
Well, it's a very interesting problem because the social media companies have basically different products that they have in the English-speaking countries where these products originated, mostly in the United States. So American users are using the platforms that are highly me-oriented. They're like mirrors, and they tend to substitute for the relationships that we have with other people. Here's the thing. Any technology that substitutes for your relationships is going to make you unhappier. If it complements it, if it connects you with other people, it can actually make you better off, and that's how people are using it in other countries.
Now, the easy solution, I suppose, is to just not use social media, but that's tough for a lot of people, Arthur. Are there things that people can do to use social media in a way that doesn't impact their happiness?
Yeah, to begin with, don't follow people you don't know. That's the most important thing. It's actually stay in contact with people that you do know so that it will complement your relationship, so that you can actually become closer to your friends, figure out what they're doing, and make sure that it never crowds out your actual in-person relationship. So you find in a lot of countries that people use WhatsApp, for example, and WhatsApp groups to stay connected with their real-life friends. In the United States, they're actually connecting with, sort of virtually connecting with people they don't even know, movie stars and famous people and rich people, and the result of it is that they feel lonelier and lonelier.
Now, Arthur, there's something else I wanted to ask about. The Pope wrote his first encyclical. Yep. It was a warning about the use of AI. You actually wrote the foreword for the English version of that.
That's right.
What's your take about what the Pope said?
The Pope had a very interesting point that actually plays on what we just talked about. His big point was that we must use AI and any technology to make us more human and not less human. Now, that might seem insane because every science fiction plot ever has had all the machines come and make us into machines themselves or to take away our humanity. But he's right, because the point that he's trying to make is that we can use these things to bring us closer to people or to push other people away. I see people all the time who are out in public with their kids are in the park, and they're looking at their phones instead of looking at their kids. You're using your devices. This is indirectly using AI, and AI more and more to actually substitute, to put technology in between you and your loved ones, and that's what the Pope is arguing against.
Well, it's an interesting conversation. Arthur Brooks, thanks for joining us.
Thanks to be with you.